Yes, welcome live to my show on this Friday evening. That's right, Friday night on February the 24th, the last Friday of February of 2023. And what a way to go out with a bang, I have to say, with this great episode you're watching tonight with my guest, Oliver Sean, who I will introduce to you in a moment. But it's a great episode this is going to be. But just before we get into that, I've been away for a few weeks, scouting guests to come on this show. And I missed a lot of interesting things in the world. Like, for instance, objects being shot down from the sky to, different peculiar things going on. But I'm happy to say, hopefully there'll be no objects falling in this interview. Please welcome along my guest for this evening, an extraordinary singer he does blues songs to rock songs, and a combination of both blues rocks as well, which I've never heard of before. So it's quite a good mixture. Please welcome along Oliver Sean. How are you this evening?
Hey Edward, how are you doing?
Very well. I'm glad you accepted to come on the show this evening, and
My pleasure.
It's a wonderful to have you here this evening. And what made you to accept the invite?
Oh well, it just looked really exciting. I was like, okay, someone from Manchester. All my interviews are usually in America, in Asia, things like that. And I was like, okay, someone local. Let's do that. Might be fun.
Yeah, most definitely. You need some English humor every now and then, don't you? As well, just to break the chain.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. The thing is, I can't see you on the screen, so I have to keep looking at the YouTube screen.
Well, don't worry.
To see if I can see you.
I'm not doing anything different. Don't worry. I'm not doing anything different than what the viewers can see, so don't worry about that. But speaking about viewers, to show this is not pre-recorded, we can see a lot of people in the chat. We've got Wanda, we've got Maria, we've got another lady as well. I can't pronounce the name, but we got a lot of people tuning in. It's great to see. So
Edward, I think you're going to get a lot of ladies tuning in.
That's what we like. That's what we like here.
That's what we like.
And if you have a question for Oliver, you can either leave it in the YouTube chat, or you can use the hashtag #TheEFShow on Twitter to ask your question. Depending how fast the YouTube chat goes, you may have to use the Twitter one to get more of a direct response, but let's see how things go. But I want to talk to you about, of course, you've traveled the world. You were born in an interesting country as well, weren't you, when you were growing up? And how was growing up in India?
Well, my mom's Portuguese, my dad's American, but my mom, they put me in a boarding school in Goa because there was family there, Italian priest from my father's side, and it just became home. I've got roots in Goa as well, but so I'm very lucky to have 3 countries that I can call home.
Yeah,
it's very, very rare,
It is.
When I'm in Goa, I've got people in Goa calling me the local sun, the local star, and then I'm in Portugal, they call me the Portuguese international singer because I'm Portuguese, and when I'm in England, they go, Leicester local boy, so I'm like, I'll take it all. It's all good.
Okay, so it's Maldi. Sorry, mispronouncing, but you're here, you got a shout. And of course, you're from Leicester. Now, the only thing we might disagree on this evening is the football. Of course, I'm a United fan, and I guess maybe you're a Leicester fan, or maybe you might surprise me and you might not even be in football, or maybe you are, but a different team.
But yeah, I am. I'm Portuguese. Okay, keep that in mind. So all you Man U fans might start hating me now because I'm a big Cristiano Ronaldo fan. Okay,
fair enough.
But I do support Leicester big time because it's my local team,
of course.
And I basically like to follow the players. Aside from Leicester being my home team, I watch Man U play. I watch Man City. Watch Chelsea, Real Madrid. It's just good play. I like watching good football, basically.
No, absolutely, and it's been an exciting season for a change compared to previous seasons where it's just been the same team dominating the Premier League.
Yep.
So it's good to see a good mixture going on, and it's still up in the air of who may win the title as well. So it's a good race to watch for once. But like it was in like when Leicester won the Premier League in 2016. That was a great,
wasn't it? Yeah,
it was.
Okay.
It's a great underdog
crazy.
team.
I was on tour. I think I was in America on tour, and I heard about the whole thing, and I reached a day after the whole thing happened in the city with the bus and everybody on the streets, and I missed all of that.
Oh no, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah.
But never say never. Hopefully you get to see it again in your lifetime. But you never know. But let's talk about, you also lived in Dubai as well, and what a beautiful city that it's never been. But from videos and pictures, it seemed to be a beautiful place to live. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, well, I was. My mother worked in Dubai for 10, 11 years, Wow. And so what I did was I was studying all over the place. I was in England, I was in Goa, and then I decided to do my MBA in Dubai, and that's how I got to Dubai. And I got a little bit of family life because otherwise we were all traveling. The entire family. I was a musician as well, so Dubai was great. For 5 years I was in Dubai, but I must say it's not a place that I would like to call home, if you know what I mean, because it's very foreign, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's a great place for a holiday, and but you can take it in short bursts, if you know what I mean. 5 years was a long stretch for me to be in Dubai at a stretch, but it's a fantastic place in terms of electronics, and me being a gadget freak, buying all the latest gadgets and stuff like that. So it was good. Met a lot of people from different countries though. Dubai, that's the great thing about Dubai, Goa. You get people from all over the world who spend time in these sort of tourist places. Yeah.
Who's been like, which kind of tourist surprised you the most? Like, who you thought would not be in that particular city but was?
Well, I can't really say a certain nationality, because you literally will get people from Cuba, of all the places, or Argentina, and you go, how did you get to Goa, or how did you get to Dubai, and they were there working or playing music, or or living there, expatriates, and it was just amazing to see people from all over the world, in these two countries. Yeah.
And did they like your music as well? I'm sure they did.
It's
a very multi-universe city, because we had on, you might not know this person, but a band called End-Ups, and we had a Phaser on, and he said that he would love to perform in Dubai, because a lot of Brits apparently have moved over to Dubai, and it's a great booming business at the moment for musicians. I'm sure when you were there you probably felt that.
Yeah, well, I was lucky in Dubai. I mean, I had a lot of fans, because my music was doing well before I got to Dubai, because I started getting on newspapers and things like that when I was 15. So by the time I got to Dubai, I was sort of starting to get known in the international music scene. And one day I got a call. I was traveling. I wasn't in Dubai. I think I was in Goa or in Portugal or something. And I got a call from an ex-girlfriend from Denmark, right? So she was this investment banker, and she would travel all over the world, petroleum and all that investment banking. And she calls me from Dubai, from the international airport there, and she goes, Oliver, I can see you everywhere. I'm like, what are you talking about? So apparently I was on the cover of E Plus magazine, which is the national weekly magazine of Dubai. And I was on the cover, and I was literally all over, back when magazines were the big thing.
Yes.
And the magazines were literally all over the stands and coffee shops, and she could see me everywhere. I can see you everywhere. Where are you? So I was like, damn, I missed that, because I was not in Dubai at that point. But getting on the cover of the national
that is great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
you know, as you say, magazines, you know, going out of fashion now. But, you know, I do hope they come back into fashion because I do like a good old magazine. And, you know,
Oh,
books
absolutely. Yeah.
books are still doing good. You know, hard copies. People say, oh, yeah, hard copies will be going out the, you know, out the fashion and it'll be all electronically. But that didn't happen.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll
True.
see the same about magazines coming back. But that must be just an honor for you to be in a you know, front pages of these fantastic national magazines
yeah.
in a different country as well. I bet that was amazing.
Oh, that was amazing. But the fun thing is, as I said, you know, we have a lot of female fans today
Yes.
watching the show. I've been lucky enough to get on a lot of international magazines, but you know, the girly mags, you know,
Yeah.
like 17 and Elle and Cosmopolitan, because they would love to put me on those magazines because they'd sell more copies, I think.
There you
Because
go.
they go, oh, you're the heartthrob now. All the girls seem to like you. So I'm like, yeah, keep putting those articles out. It's all good. Yeah.
I love that. But I'm gonna throw you some age at you now because
Okay.
according to my research, again, this might be fake news. So
Okay.
it says that you got your big start in 1999. That's when most people got to hear from you for the first time on a national stage. Now I, depending on the month, I was either not alive or I was just alive. So,
Okay.
so that's just showing my age and maybe a bit of your age as well.
Right. Okay. Hey,
but-
listen, man. I'm 18 till I die. It's all good.
I like that. But that's just showing my age. That's, you know, does it feel that long though? That long ago where you were
It
first?
doesn't, you know. That's truly, really, that's a great question because it's really funny because I can look back. I'd be sitting having a drink with my friends or whatever, and then I'd look back. It was just the other day. I was on tour across the Hard Rock cafes in India, or you know, was performing at the Hard Rock in Chicago, and that was maybe 15 years ago. And it feels like it was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, time just sort of disappears. It's like everything is just sort of happening at the same time. If you kind of understand what I'm trying to say.
I do, because you know time does go rapid as you get older. No offense or anything like that, but I feel like it does. You know, like time just goes too fast nowadays. You know, it's just amazing. You know, you can just put into focus. And I want to know as well, like what got you, you know, wanted to become a musician and wanted to go in this kind of line of work. Like who inspired you as you were growing up before you got to 18?
Well, I've been a musician as far back as I can remember. So I remember I was 4 years old and I was singing. I had a very powerful range for a kid, and my mum heard it and she was like, "Wow!" And I was on stage singing choirs and, you know, competitions and things since I was 4 years old. And I started. Well, I used to lead the choir in my boarding school.
Oh, okay.
So if I wasn't there would be no music in church.
Oh no!
Yeah, so all my friends who were football players, and I was a good player as well. I mean, I played different sports, but early morning, I couldn't go anywhere because I had to go to bloody church and do the music there.
Yeah.
But in the end, so I did that for 5 years in the boarding school, and that was my main start in music. You know, that really gave me the leadership quality, and it showed me that you know, I can control stuff, or I can, you know, lead groups and things like that. And yeah, and every band that I've been in since then, every musician has been older than me, and I've always been the leader of the band. So yeah, it's been, in the end, I think music is more, it doesn't matter, age doesn't really matter. It's more, a musician will respect you if they can see that you're a really good musician, you know? So I could be, when I was 20, like if I'm in my 30s, late 30s now, I'd play with, say, 50, 60-year-olds. They'll give me all that respect for what I've achieved. However, when I was in my 20s, I'd get 35, 40-year-old guys playing bass and whatever with me, and they'd respect me tremendously because of the talent that I had, you know, and things that I could just understand, and they could just connect with me on a different level, on a different plane, sort of. So it was really cool. It's a beautiful connection between musicians.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with you though, and it's a good story. And I want to know as well, like you know, as you mentioned about many bands you've been involved with, there must be a reason why you are always the lead singer. 'Cause obviously, you're leading by example. And
Yeah.
you know, are you still in touch with any of the band's members?
Oh yeah. Most musicians who I've played with are in touch with me. You know, they like to follow my career.
Good.
And they like to use the fact that they played with me.
Yeah.
So they go, oh, you know what? I played with Oliver Shawn, even though maybe I was only 20 when I played with them. But they go, oh, you know, I played in Oliver Shawn's band, because now it holds a lot of credit. You know, if you play.
It's a bit like it's a bit like me now, isn't it? A bit like me. I can now go to up here and say I've had on the great Oliver Shawn on my show. So you know, things like that. You know, bit example like that. But anyway, I want to know as well, like, because you know, have any of your other band members, you know, from who you've played alongside with, have they gone on to create their own bands as well, and maybe, you know, collab with them a bit as well in their own bands, if that makes sense?
Not really. I mean, you know, you move on as you grow up. You know, as you change your musical style or your musical sort of your music changes as you grow up, and you start meeting different types of musicians that you want to collaborate with. So there are some musicians that are working with me and have been working with me for 20 years, you know, or 10 years, and I'll always use them in my band. So those guys are those kinds of musicians that have connected with me that I would never say no to.
Yeah,
you know?
That makes sense.
So,
yeah.
like there's a drummer in the UK that I played with when I was 15 years old, you know, and I played with him in Portugal or in Goa, and till today, it feels like it was just yesterday when we played together. And I know for a fact that if I played with him again, it would feel like we would just click, you know.
Yeah,
there are musicians like that, and then there are some musicians who become more than just musicians to me, you know. So they're more like brothers, you know. Like my bass player Darren and my other multi-instrumentalist Garfield, who's in Goa, you know. So these guys are like my brothers. They'll always be there with me on my albums, and I'll make it a point to see that they're part of the album, you know, so that they get something out of it forever.
Yeah. And a bit like recognition, isn't it? A bit like recognition for their time and their hard work to help you to create this great, you know, album or single, depending whatever you may be releasing as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, of course, to the viewers who watch this around the world, you can see that my guest is coming to you from his great studio.
But this.
Go on.
This is my home studio.
Your home studio.
And you're seeing the worst part of it. Because, by the way, my German Shepherd is down here, and he won't let me close the door.
Well, I'm just liking it. People might be distracted by the background of your home studio.
I know. Yeah.
Can you go into detail of your background, if you don't mind? Again, you can say no.
But the funny thing is, everything about the studio is in front of me, which you can't see, and the back is basically stuff that is acoustic diffusion, you know. So it's a small room where I do a lot of my production work. So I've got these big speakers here and amplifiers. So we need something on the wall to sort of diffuse the sound. So it's not soundproof, but it's acoustically treated.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I get that. I've seen that for many other.
It looks like a bit of a mess, but I feel very comfortable here, though.
That's good. That's good. And I know you're comfortable, and that's the main thing, because you have to perform in that studio and whatnot as well. And I'm sure you got other studios as well elsewhere. So what can we expect then from yourself this year? Then what can we expect from you, the great Oliver Shawn, in 2023?
Okay, so that's a great question. I'm glad you asked me that, because there is this new single that I released called Mama Taught Me. Okay. Yeah. So I released that as a preview to my EP that's releasing next month.
Okay.
End of next month, early April. So there's this massive music video that we filmed in Leicester and parts in America and in Goa as well. So, but most of it has been filmed in Leicester on my big fat boy Harley Davidson. We'll come to that in a minute.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. I want to know about your bikes.
So this video was filmed a lot on my fat boy, my brand new fat boy Harley Davidson, And that video has been, it's a very special video because that song, if you listen to the song, uh, you'll understand why it's a very special video, because the song is very special. Dedicated to my mom, who's been my biggest support and backing in music and in life, really. So it was released on my mother's birthday, but it was a preview to the whole EP that's releasing, which is a blues EP. And we've got 5 songs coming up on this EP, with one song which is an Eric Clapton cover, which I'm very excited about, which I'll be releasing shortly as a single as well. So there's this Mama Taught Me EP with a very massive music video, which releases very soon, actually, like in a month.
There you go. Hear all the gossip here. But I want to say though, usually on this show we don't usually use a preview. We don't call it a teaser. You gave your fans a teaser of what to expect from your new album, and I can't wait to hear it when it comes out end of next month, early April. So I can't wait for that. And people are tuning in, and they're saying wonderful song as well. Can't disagree with that. And someone says, "Wow!" So there's some news for you. This is what we like to do. We like to bring a lot of teasers, a lot of gossip to the show. To make this hopefully a trending topic.
Absolutely. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But you've been on for years. You've been on many different magazines or TV programs and whatnot, and your music's been on being used in radio and again on TV commercials or even on TV shows, and I bet that's quite an honor for you as well. And I bet did you expect that kind of reaction as well to your success through the years?
You know what? I did. I always wanted everything that I got, and I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a
lot of people go, "Oh, I never expected this, and I never expected that," because when you don't expect it, you don't get it. So this is something I would like to tell younger musicians: expect the world, and then you'll get it. If you don't expect it and you try to be, "Oh no, I don't want that," you won't get it. Say you want to be on MTV, you'll be on MTV. At least back when MTV was what it was. Now it's different, of course. But you know what I mean.
I do.
You know what I mean.
I do.
And I said I wanted to be on the Billboard charts. I've got 4 top 10s on the Billboard charts. I never even thought that a kid growing up in Goa and Dubai would reach the top of the charts in America on the blues chart. But I'm not saying I didn't expect it. It's something that I was like, I want that.
Yeah.
I always wanted that. I didn't know how I was going to get it, but I got it because I deserved it, because I worked hard towards it.
Yeah.
But don't worry about how you're going to get it. Just worry about how good you are and how good you can make yourself. How better you can make your music, because you will get what you deserve.
Yeah, and Wanda, I think, is commenting on that answer of yours by saying that's called the law of attraction. You attract
there you go.
what you think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Or as I was going to say, if you can believe it, if you can get to that, then you can get to it, and you can get to your target.
Absolutely. Believe it, and tell yourself or tell the universe that you deserve it. Of course, you got to be good enough. You got to be good. You got to believe yourself, and you have to have the talent and work on the talent. You can't just be, "Oh, I'm a great guitar player and I'm a great singer, so I'm just going to sit in my bedroom all day for the rest of my life and wait for my number one to come in." That's not going to happen.
No, that's very true.
You got to go out there and work your ass off to
because
make it your life. A lot of musicians I've met through the years were very bitter. Who go, "Oh, why did he make it? Why didn't I make it?" It's because he made it his entire life. He gave up on dropping into the pub and spending hours with you having a beer, because he spent all that time honing his skill and going out there and doing gigs and writing music and things like that. So a lot of people make it a hobby, and then they expect to get all the accolades that artists like me get. and they go, "Oh, why are you getting it? Why am I not getting it? I'm as good a musician as you." Yes, you may be, but you haven't really gone to the next level because you kept it as a hobby because you wanted everything else. So you took everything else. I didn't want anything else. I only wanted this, and I got that.
That's very true.
It's like sports people as well, like Tiger Woods. All he wanted was to be what he is today. He didn't want anything else.
No.
Whereas his mates wanted the family and wanted this and wanted that and wanted to, to have the regular life. And so you got to make a decision and stick with that.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you with that statement. Totally. I'm not going to disagree anyway because there's something to disagree about it. To me anyway. You, the viewers watching this, if you don't agree completely, let me know. Let us know. We can put that straight to Oliver and get his immediate reaction to that. But as you say about Tiger Woods, he almost lost the ability to play after that dreadful car crash he was in a few years ago as well. So he's quite lucky, able to continue to play the sport he loves as well.
Exactly.
Now, of course, people may be wondering when you are going back to some of your favourite countries to sing again, because, of course, last year was the first proper year after all the, COVID business.
The COVID?
Yeah. So can we expect you going back to any of the countries you love to perform in, or maybe even some new countries where you've not had the chance to perform yet?
Well, thankfully, last year, I finally traveled again. I went to Las Vegas to the Grammy Awards. I'm a member of the Grammys.
Yes, on CBS.
So I was invited. Yeah, I was invited to the Grammys. I went there, did a couple of gigs, the pre-Grammy events, they call it. And then I went to Canada. So I'm also a filmmaker. So I went to Canada to film a music video for an artist who signed to my record label called Silent Stranger. So I did a little bit of traveling last year. So this year, we've got some tours coming up. We've got gigs in Europe, in Portugal, Spain, and things like that. And there's stuff again in Asia as well, Dubai and Goa and Bombay and places like that. I work a lot with VH1 and MTV.
Yeah.
So when I go to that part of the world, they sponsor my tours.
Oh, that's cool.
So we have these they work with my company, so they're called WA. International tours, that we do. But a very nice thing that I would love to tell your viewers
Please
is
do.
The WA summer tour that I organize every year, and then we had to stop during COVID. So it's going to start again this year in August, where we take 1 week in August or July, and I bring down bands that are signed to my record label. So I've got a Canadian band, an American band, a French artist, someone from Portugal, me, and my band headlines as well. So we've got all this, and we go across 5 cities in the UK, right from like Somerset and Stroud or Gloucestershire, Leicestershire, London, hopefully Manchester.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah,
we might be performing right next to your studio. That would be great.
It would be great.
That's something great coming up in the UK, which I'm very excited about.
Good. Glad to see you going back on tour and whatnot this year, and as well to Europe as well, to those great countries you may have missed. Maybe missed a chance to see you when you were last there, and hopefully this time they can come out and see you as well, which is great to see. Now, of course, you mentioned about going to Las Vegas for the Grammys last year. Did you do a lot of mingling while you were there, getting to meet some new people, make connections, etc.?
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of friends in the Grammys, fellow voters like me. So we did an album during COVID. I made an album called Devil Is Back. And it was my album. I wrote all the songs, and I had my local band here. And then I collaborated with a lot of these Grammy friends of mine. And it was the first time I met them in Las Vegas.
In person.
So I collaborated with them online.
Yeah.
And that album it hit number 8 on the Billboard charts, number 1 in the UK on the blues charts, top 50 on the UK, top 50 albums and things like that. But it was these guys who collaborated. I mean, they did backing voices, or they played a saxophone or trumpet and things like that.
that's
And I
awesome.
finally got to meet them in Las Vegas. And now we're working on new collaborations. Different artists, different Grammy artists want
Yeah.
to work with me on my new projects as well. So I'm very excited.
That's good. That's good. And
Yeah.
before we go any further, I don't mind people. We
Uh-huh.
have been showing Oliver's social media on the screen on and off. I don't know if you've seen that when you've been watching on your other screen, but you can find my guest on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all by the same name, Oliver Sean. He
Yes.
keeps it nice and simple. Unlike
Simple.
me, I don't keep it simple. I like to use your mind. Your mind needs to work a little bit on
You want to make
Twitter.
it tough. You want to make it tough on your viewers.
Yeah, only on one platform. Only on one platform, and that's Twitter, because they won't let me have that one letter at the end, the W. That's the only thing they won't let me do. But I want to know, is there anybody you would love to collaborate with in either this year or in the future?
There are a lot of people that I would love to collaborate with, like my idols, for example, like Eric Clapton, for that matter. I mean, if I'm going to collaborate with someone, I would rather pick someone that I adore, like I treat like God,
sense. That makes
So,
sense.
so the only name that can come to me would be Eric Clapton or the Foo Fighters or something like that,
Yeah.
But I would not, under no circumstances, would I like to collaborate with any of the manufactured artists that everybody seems to be listening to on radio these days. That ain't happening ever.
Fair enough. Do people still listen to the radio still? Because I don't really listen to the radio anymore.
But you know what I mean? I mean, we've been drip fed music by record labels that they want you to listen to a certain kind of music, and they'll play it all the time on the radio.
Yeah.
Or you're driving your car, you put the radio on, you only get those songs because those labels own the bloody radio stations, and they even try to take over Spotify and add it to your playlist, and they'll add those manufactured songs in there, like Justin Bieber or whatever. I don't want to name names, but when I say manufactured music, I mean music that doesn't have any heart and soul. Where the guy singing it has not even written one word in that song.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Play the bloody guitar.
That happens a lot.
I'd rather listen to the local band down the road who's written the song and who are singing it from their heart. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, no, it makes sense completely.
Yeah.
I would like to know, because you lived in England during COVID, I'm sure, and would you want to see a certain politician who turned reality star come on this channel? Would you want to see him get grilled on this channel or not? Would you?
Are you talking about the ex-education minister?
I wish. No, I was the former health.
Sorry, health. Yes. I remember something about the guy.
Yeah.
But I think each and every politician you've got a massive amount of grilling you can do to every one of these politicians. You don't just need that guy. You can call anybody.
Yeah, that's
your
true.
entire show, you can grill the fella. Because they have so much to grill them on, what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But I mean, would you love to go on any of these, great reality shows as well? Like maybe, could be, dancing shows. It could be cooking shows.
Actually, Edward, there's one thing a lot of my fans don't know. When I was, coming up before my first album came out, after my first single, I got a call from MTV in Asia, in Singapore and India and all of those, Dubai. And they called me and they said, Oliver, would you want to be a VJ, a video jockey? Back in the day when you had those VJs, MTV VJs.
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah, that'd be a great way. Because I was studying my MBA, and I was always looking at marketing opportunities to promote my music. And I said, hey, that would be a great idea to do this MTV VJ thing. So it was they had a reality TV thing. They won awards at major, TV shows and stuff like that. So it was an MTV VJ hunt, and it was a full-fledged reality TV show. And I was on it every day on national TV.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or rather international TV, international TV. And So I did reality TV.
You invented it back in the day.
I did reality TV when reality TV was just beginning.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
You should be proud of that. You should be proud of one of the one of the historic people behind reality TV before it was called reality TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, would you love to go on any of them shows? You know, even
Sure.
Ninja.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Celeb, something like that. Maybe even Big Brother. You know.
Yeah, if there are hot women in the show, I'm there.
Well, you can expect that on maybe even Love Island as well, because a lot of people.
There you go. I just, as long as I've got my guitar, all the other guys are going to be in trouble. I'll tell you that.
But again, it can take you from where you are now, and it can lift you up into another level as well. Get you more fans to check you out as well. To be good. But just saying, you got plenty of fans already. I'm just saying that hopefully sometime the mainstream decide to give you a call and say, hey, do you want to be a part of this? And you may want to say yes or no, depending what it might be.
Absolutely. I mean, if I had the choice between, say, someone saying you want to be on a reality thing, or someone going, hey, do you want to do a concert in Abbey Road or whatever?
Yeah.
I'll obviously choose the concert. But if there's no concert happening, I'll go do the reality thing.
Yeah, of course, because you're dedicated. And you're passionate about your music, and that's and what a great opportunity that would be, performing on Abbey Road, and I'm sure you've been doing the poses as well when you go to London.
But even if I were to do a reality show, I would turn it into a bloody Oliver Shawn concert.
It'd be quite fun. It'd be interesting to see what the people you'd be involved with and how you would get on with them, and if they would like you, or there'd be any conflicts, and what the challenge would be like. I think it'd be great TV. I think personally, I think it must be. I think it'd be.
Edward, put the word out, man. Put the word out.
It'd be great. I think it'd be fantastic for sure. I have to say. But let's move on as well, because your viewers, love you so much, and what made you fall back in love with your fans? How did that all start to get you to tell people about your work, basically?
Yeah, well, that's a good question for me, because when I started out, like, I've been in music business now since I was 15 years old, professional music business, And back then I was just at the point when the internet was not that big in terms of social media and things. It was just beginning, The verifications on all these things were just, nowadays people get verified and they think they're celebrities. And I'm like, dude, do you even know what a celebrity means, You have to be on television and radio and do what we did back in the day. So I was in that sort of a scene where connecting with fans was difficult. It was only when you went to a concert and you had your after parties or press conferences before the show where you could talk and people could read about it. Mm-hmm. There wasn't much of one-on-one sort of interaction with fans, and. So even though I would be on TV all the time, literally every day, doing interviews or my music videos playing, but this internet thing was there, but it wasn't what it is today, And then eventually, we started realizing that, okay, this is all dying out, and now it's all online, And then I had to learn how to become more connected online with my fans and one-on-one, because. You are taught by record. I was also signed to major labels. I was signed to Sony and to Times Music and all of that. And they teach you how to be a star. You have to act like a celebrity, and you got to act like that, and you got to keep your distance and all that shit. I never believed that, because I would always be completely down to earth with all my fans. And then I had to learn how to let go of that and become the modern day sort of celebrity, online, and be connected to people and talk and chat and be, active on social media and things like that. And finally I got to that stage where I know how to be active on social media a lot. And but basically I'm just myself now. I can just be myself, and people get to I think they know me better now. Before they would just know what the media would write about me or
Yeah.
what I would see on TV. Now, on a daily basis, they can see my posts, and I'll just be commenting, and they have like a direct connection to me, which I think my fans really adore that about me,
Yeah,
because
no.
I'm very connected to them. Yeah,
Yeah, well, it definitely shows, and that's why you've got the following you have gotten because of your,
yeah,
your take on social media and you on
yeah,
how you react and interact
yeah,
with your fan base and how to grow it. Because a lot of
yeah,
people, a lot of celebs don't really, respond back to people.
yeah.
Only a small portion do, and you're one of them people. So you should be proud of that.
I remember when I would do radio shows a lot
Yeah.
back in the day. Like when radio was big, if you know
Hmm.
what I mean. Back when radio was big, and my record labels would send me to like a radio tour. So I would do different FM stations every day, or in a day 3 different stations, and they would
Like it.
call me the most down to earth rock star. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
I like
They're
that.
like, they're like, if someone meets you on the street, you're gonna sit with them and have a coffee at the barista, and you're just gonna talk to them like they're your long lost buddies. And I'm like, that's what I feel. They're my fans. It's because of them that I am who I am.
Mm.
So now I guess the fact that social media now I'm so connected, and I've got so many fans on social media. I think my personality shows,
Yeah.
and people get to see. My God, this guy he's like one of us, and he doesn't have any of those airs, which I think is bullshit. When a celebrity tries to be a celebrity, he's not really a celebrity. He's just trying to be something he's not, Because I'll tell you one thing, Bryan Adams or Keith Urban or these guys, they won't act like freaking proud assholes. They won't, because they're very sure of what they are and who they are, and they know that in the end they're just musicians, and they will always give their fan the most attention. They'll give them priority. That's what a celebrity is to me.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's your opinion, and I'm not going to disagree
Oh
with your
yes, that's
opinion.
my opinion.
Yeah, of course, and I'm not going to disagree with your opinion. But we want to say that your fans are liking it. Back to your earlier comment about that, if you're allowed to bring your guitars, and someone repeated saying, as long as you bring your guitars, and that's great. His fans love him. Yes, we do. Oliver is awesome. Fabulous interview. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the interview. Hopefully, it's a bit different than the other interview you may see Oliver on, because I try and make it a bit unique and not listen to any previous interviews. So apologies if there's a few similar questions, but hopefully overall a bit off the cuff, as I want to say, off the script, because there is no script on this show. And of course, Wanda also says yes as well. So obviously your fans are agreeing with you this evening, which is great to see, as always. Let's talk about your motorcycles, shall we?
Oh yeah,
because
now you're talking.
we kind of went off topic and then we went off somewhere else. But let's make your motorcycles. I know you love your motorcycles. You're always posting
Totally.
your motorcycles, and what got you what's the word, engrolled into liking motorcycles? If that's even a word.
Yeah, it is. It is a word.
Oh, God. I don't use that very often in the show. I don't think I've ever used that word before. So there you go. New word for me tonight in 2023. I love it.
Okay. Well, the first time I rode a motorbike, I had an accident. Okay.
Right.
And I was 11 years old, right? And I rode a vintage classic Enfield 500cc motorbike, a very, very heavy, difficult motorbike to ride. And I was 11 when I rode it, and I crashed it with my uncle at the back.
Oh no!
And the bike fell on me.
Oh.
And that started my love for motorbikes. And,
it would normally put people off from riding motorcycles after that,
right?
but
Yeah.
but for you, man, you are brave.
Yeah. I'm a little different from regular people. I mean, when things go wrong, I kind of get into it. So, for example, when I was 6 years old, or 7, or 6 or 7,
Yeah.
I almost lost my hand. This hand, I would not be a guitar player today because I was bitten by a German Shepherd, right? Through and through. There were 2 holes in my hand. My hands were almost paralyzed. I had to go through a lot of physiotherapy and things like that. And I was only 6 or 7 years old.
Crikey.
And instead, like any other person in the world, I think would be terrified of dogs.
Yes.
I don't know of anybody who loves dogs or is into protecting animals as much as me. I mean, of course there are, but I like to think that I love animals more than human beings sometimes. And what have I got? German Shepherds. And I was the guy who almost lost his hand with the German Shepherd. So similarly with motorbikes, I almost lost my leg when I was 11, and I love my motorbikes.
Yeah, crazy story that is. I would not believe that for a moment, but what a story! 2 stories in one. That I love that. But I mean, of course,
truth,
I definitely
truth,
get that. Now, of course, I have Harley Davidson, one of probably the best motorcycle I would say on planet Earth. That's my opinion. You may have a different opinion. You have one yourself. What made you to go with the Harley Davidson out of all the other motorcycles you could take?
Okay, small correction. I've got 3 Harleys.
Hey, that's good. It's more for Harley than most people. Yeah. So I love that.
Well, so I, as a kid, I think every kid, before he gets into motorbikes proper, it's probably like most of us have watched Terminator back in the day when
I'll be back.
Was riding his Fat Boy, and I've always loved Harley Davidsons. I mean, I couldn't afford a Harley Davidson until later on in life, so I was into vintage bikes, motorbikes that the way the Harleys and the Indian motorbikes, the Indians as well, which is competition for Harleys. So these bikes, the original vintage ones, looked a lot like the classic Enfields that were made in the UK and in India. So I started buying those bikes when I was 13 and 14 and things like that. And thankfully, my mom was kind of cool. She let me ride these bikes, even though I had that accident. So I started off with Enfields, moved to some of the Japanese Yamahas and things like that. Yeah. Again, vintage ones. I like the RD350 and all of those. I also had a Czechoslovakian motorbike called the Jawa. It was a 250cc, all classics, vintage classic bikes. Yeah. And then finally, I said, okay, it's time now. But when I got to the UK, when I was here proper, I said, let's go for the Harleys. And I started off proper. I started with the 750 Street Harley Davidson. I said, let me get my chops on there first. And then I moved on to the Sportster 48, which is a 1250cc.
Wow.
And then I moved to the Softails. And then I had the Street Bob, the Fat Boy, and now, just a couple of weeks ago, I've got my brand new Softail Standard, a 2023 model, and I must tell you, it is truly the love of my life in terms of motorbikes. I just love that bike. It is just amazing, absolutely amazing bike.
I have to say as well, is there much differences between the Harley Davidsons in the UK to the US version?
No.
Because there's no difference. No, it
is literally the Harley Davidsons that you get here are the ones that they import from America.
Got you.
So they don't make Harley Davidsons here,
No,
so any Harley Davidson you get is brought in from Milwaukee in America, except for the Harley Davidson Street.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is made in India or now has been moved to Thailand or something like that.
That's
that was the only, And when I bought that, I must say, when I bought it, I felt like I was riding a Yamaha, and I was like, this is not a Harley Davidson, which is why I sold it in like 2 months. And I was like, no, I want a proper Milwaukee Harley Davidson.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like, you want the real deal, and you want to fit in as well with the locals. Like, oh yeah, look at that guy coming down the river, Harley Davidson. Have you got the sunglasses to match with the Harley Davidson? Because they do.
Sunglasses and watches. I'm a proper guy, I love these things, So I've got this collection of sunglasses and collection of watches, but I'm not the kind of guy who buys Harley Davidson branded glasses and things like that. I'm not. I'd rather just buy the Harley Davidson
Yeah.
and let the others buy the accessories.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I'm in that category. Let's go to some more comments. So, talking about your motorcycle accident, you said at 11 years old. They said one of your fans said, "If you fall, we get back up." Exactly, you
Oh
do.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Exactly.
She also says, "Well, beautiful bike. Absolutely, can't disagree with you there." USA us as well. But of course, many people love the USA. A lot of people love, Europe. Is there anywhere? I mentioned it before as well, but is there anywhere you would love to perform where you've not had the chance to yet? You've not mentioned. You haven't mentioned Australia, down under. Yeah, have
You know what?
That's not my good
Yes,
accent, by the way.
So I've done almost every continent. I've performed in every continent except Australia and New Zealand. And funny thing is, I get a lot of airplay, my radio airplay, on community radio stations in West Australia, in Perth and Swan.
Okay.
I might have some of them watching in today or later on. So they love me there, and they've been calling me to Australia to perform. They've got a tour set up for me. They've got gigs across Western Australia set up. And I just have to get myself there.
Yes, you do.
And I couldn't because of COVID. This was before COVID and during COVID. But so that's the only place I haven't performed it, and I will be very soon.
Good. And I hope that the people of Australia and New Zealand welcome you in, enjoy your music, and hopefully get a fan base and get your music from community radio to the next level in that particular continent as well.
Don't get me wrong. Regular radio is playing me in Australia, but I've got a community radio there. Guys who have a local radio station there who just absolutely adore me. And they do these 2-hour interviews with me, and they've set up a show for me, a tour for me. But my songs do play on regular radio there.
Right, okay. Got you, okay. Yeah. Sorry for the mistake there. You also, is that the same show you do as well? 'Cause I know you sometimes say you got your radio show.
Oh, yeah. I've got a podcast,
right,
which also goes out to public radio around the world through one of our distributors. Yeah, so it's a certain format that I have. But what I do is I promote independent musicians or independent songs or independent artists that people ought to know. Once in a way you'll get an artist who's just starting out, maybe, that we want to give a break to. But most of the artists that we put on the show that I sort of discover are acts who are giving a run to the major label artists, and these guys are doing it on their own in the bedroom, the way I started out, and they've got that quality, and they're putting their heart and soul into it. And so those are the guys that I sort of bring onto my show, and then we take it to the next level for some of them. We get them on the charts and get them to the Grammys, things. If there's an artist that I really, really like, I'll become a mentor to the artist. Yeah.
That's good.
So
that's good to see. We got a lot coming in now about Times Square New Year's Eve and South Carolina. Also getting a shout there. I hope you enjoyed that little excitement there. That's quite good. And speaking about mentorship and all that good stuff, what advice would you give to anybody who may be thinking, maybe on stunting out or thinking, how do I get to that next level to maybe get opportunities like you have gotten in previous years?
Well, opportunities, you just have to create your opportunities, and you have to be at the right place at the right time. But also, the more you perform, the more you write music, the more you give enough time to the music is what's going to help you get to the next level.
Yeah.
You can't write a great song, put it up on Spotify and go, yep, that's it. I made a great song. The whole world is going to come and listen to it now. That's not going to work. It never does. You're competing with 1 million other songwriters who are releasing 1 million songs every day, So if you don't have that something special, you got to work on it, If you're not a great songwriter, maybe you're a great performer. So hone that skill more, But in the end, be true to your music. If you are truly into music, if you make it a hobby, That's what it's going to be. It'll be a hobby. You might get lucky and have a viral hit, maybe, but that isn't a music career. A music career is what you do every day without fail, and you work on it every day, and you release music, and you put your heart and soul, and you give up easy things just so that you can go make music, and keep going, keep going. There are artists I know who just had no success, but they were just great artists, and then eventually they just made it on their own. I made it on my own, and I now help other artists to make it and give them those platforms. But but my story is a little different in terms of because I always had that mentality of starting my own record label and things like that, and I knew the business. I did an MBA because I wanted to do music business. I wanted to do that, but most artists don't sort of wait for someone to give you a break. Go out there, get your own break, do those gigs, write those songs. You don't need anyone now. Release music as much as you can. Spotify, Apple, anyone can sit on a computer and release the music. But if your music is not good, no one's going to listen to it. So work on your skill as being a songwriter and a singer and being better and better and better.
Great advice there. Great advice from the great Oliver Sawn. So I hope that helps you out, perhaps. Maybe it doesn't, but hopefully give you some guidance there, hopefully. Let's talk about to this, because I want to know, about some funny stories from the roads, you've travelled down. Has there been any interesting or funny stories on the roads, or you're travelling from town to town or city to city over the years you can share with us this evening?
Oh, yeah. Well, recently, I think in 2018, I did a tour of America with my band, so Darren, my bass player, was with me. And usually my band is usually me and my bass player, and we have different drummers who join us, because I love drummers who have different styles, and my styles vary, So I've got music that's blues, and then I've got music that's very funky, and then there's music that's very rock. So I'll bring in drummers to sort of match those styles.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, obviously, because it would sound bit off, wouldn't it, if you bring a rock drummer to play a blues hit? It will not sound right, would it? I don't think.
Well, I suppose if I had a drummer who could do all of that at the same time, and we had, it'd be great. But thankfully, I have a lot of different musicians I like working with, But the one constant in the UK, at least, has been Darren, my bass player. So he's always with me, and he travels with me. Same with Garfield in Goa, He's another guy who travels with me when I go to that part of the world. So we went to America. We did the Heartland, because I wanted to do the real American. Every time I go to America on an annual basis, I'm doing New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. These are major cities. It's like performing in London and saying you toured the UK. You didn't. You just did London. That's different. If you haven't played in Manchester and Newcastle and Edinburgh and a small town in Wantage or whatever, you haven't really done the UK. So similarly, in America, I wanted to perform in the heartland, the real Americans that I wanted to play to, and I did that then. So we performed in Iowa, Illinois. I did do Chicago a couple of times during this tour, but it was great. And I had to ask Darren to drive everywhere, because I'm really bad driving on the other side.
A lot of people, so, you'd be surprised by a lot of people who get confused. I can tell you this as well, because my US cousin came over to the UK last year with a friend, and they were in Scotland to begin with, and apparently her friend didn't like driving because they're quite narrow roads, and he kept almost crashing into the bushes or whatever. So luckily my cousin was driving, and she enjoyed it. She was very confident compared to her friend. A bit like you.
So the story that was one of the funny things, that I couldn't drive, and then we had these America is so, like, every city is so far away. Because you're going from Iowa and Washington, Iowa, to Burlington or Des Moines, which is like 2.5 hours or 3 hours, and you're driving to Chicago, which is 5 hours. And Darren had to do all the driving because I refused to drive, not because I didn't want to, but because I was terrified of crashing,
Yeah.
Because first of all, we were driving this massive truck, when you say truck, I mean, 4-wheel drive, but this huge, huge 4-wheel drive. And they were automatic. That's another problem for me. I love my manual cars.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I just love manual, yeah. So that was one thing. But, so I did this concert at the Riverside Casino in Iowa. And I was on top billing with Rick Springfield and a lot of these country stars and things like that. So that was very cool. But I had never really performed at a casino before, like a proper, this is almost like a Las Vegas casino. Okay. Yeah. So after the gig, it was a successful gig, very, very good show. It was packed. And then after that, they gave us some chips to go play, in the casino. And for me, it wasn't about playing. It was about taking photos and videos for Instagram and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I was there with my cards or whatever, playing some blackjack. I don't know what it was. And Darren was behind the dealer taking a photo. And all of a sudden, you had these bouncers coming in to catch the guy. What are you doing? Because you're taking photos of the dealer's car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Oh, he freaked the hell out. It's so funny. And people were like, guys, you're the band. That's Oliver Sean's guy, And they were, oh, man, guys, don't do that. You get in trouble, shit like that. But that was fun.
That's hilarious.
Thank God we didn't get in trouble. We didn't get beaten up by the bloody mafioso.
Or even get kicked out of the casino either.
I know, we didn't get kicked. Well, we were staying in we got the suites and everything, and
nice.
We had a lot of after parties over there and stuff like that. But we realized, let's have our parties away from these places where they play cards.
Yes.
Because otherwise we're gonna get in trouble.
Yes, you don't want to do that. And plus, as well, they have some of these people may have guns on them as well, so you just be very careful.
God, yeah. It's America. Everybody has a gun there.
Yeah. Yeah, very true, very true. But on that note, I will say before we let you go, because you're a busy guy as well, and your dog, your German Shepherd, has been nice and relaxing. Now, I thought he may have made some barks or tried to interrupt our conversation, but you know what? You've trained him very well, and he's not interrupted us, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the thing is, if I were to play the guitar, he'd be even more calm.
I like that.
There we go.
I like that. Nice little preview now on the Fowler show. I love that. People are reacting to your story there. They're saying ha and funny. It's great to see as well. But before we let you go for the evening to kickstart your weekend, who would you suggest to come on this show after you, basically? Who would you suggest to come on this show after you, would you say?
Well, there's so many people I could recommend. Like recently, I've had a lot of my friends win Grammy Awards, but obviously they're all in America, so I don't know if you like talking to American guests.
Oh, yes, we have lots of American guests on this show. we broke the cycle recently where we were able to bring us some English people back on, some English folk, which I like. So, but no, who are some of the American Grammy Award winners you want to suggest?
Well, the Grammy Award winners and Grammy, some of the musicians who have worked on my Mama Taught Me song, and who are going to be working on the EP as well, like Suzanne Grzana, Alex Ote. These are friends of mine who have worked on my previous album, and they're all Grammy voters, Grammy nominees, things like that. So they'd be great additions to your show. And I'll pass on their information to you.
Yes, please do. That'd be great. And I want to say as well that I think you're one of the people who I've got an email from nice and early in the morning, which I like, because many people don't respond at 4 o'clock in the morning. They respond, like 10 o'clock at night or something. But I like you. I like that because that's commitment for me. Anyway, I like that.
Edward, that's because I sleep at 4:30 in the morning. See?
White. That explains why I didn't get a response from you at 5:59 in the morning.
That's why you got that email that late at night.
Yeah, but I like that because many people don't email me that in the morning, so I like it. It's just different, and it's like, yes, they're eager to come on the show, so I like that.
Of course, yeah.
But if you enjoyed this episode and want to see more of my show, then all you have to do is easy peasy, lemon squeezy, is to subscribe to the channel. It takes 10 seconds or less to click the notification. Means you're always notified when the new episode drops as well. Also, you can find myself on social media. My links are on the screen at the bottom of your screen right there. So make sure you do follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to. And as well, if you enjoyed the episode and like the episode on YouTube, share the video around. Tell everybody about Oliver Sean. Tell them more about the best kept secret on YouTube, where we bring you on guests from all over the world, from Australia to America. And whoever else may be coming on this show, you have to keep in tone, because who knows who will be coming on the show next. We've got some people in negotiations, so we'll keep you posted on those on my social media, or even through my website as well, edfowlershow.com. You can find that in the description below. You can sign up to my newsletter and be alerted first before any guests announced publicly. And also, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Ask future questions for Oliver. I'm sure you will come back on the show, won't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, there you go. So, he will come on the show. I pressed the wrong button there. But again, I tell myself, but always important. Oliver announced that he will come back on the show anytime, which is great to see. And, leave a comment, ask future questions, leave what you thought about the show, ways I can improve perhaps, who knows. I listen to all feedback, all criticism, so leave it all in the comment section below. And I hope you all enjoy your Friday night and enjoy the rest of February. And I will all see you all in March. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed so far. We've got 200 and let's see quickly, 207 subscribers. That's the best kept secret on YouTube. And thank you to everyone who subscribed. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Ciao.